Hi, my name is David Fleming from Disciples Ignited, and we are studying Gems in John, devotional thoughts throughout the Gospel of John. Now, today we're in the latter part of John chapter 18, where Jesus is standing before the religious authorities that are trying to have Jesus killed. Everything that the religious authorities are doing is illegal. They're basing everything on lies. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they're justifying it because they hate Jesus and they want to get rid of him. He is a threat to them. But listen to what the scriptures tells us in John chapter 18, verses 28 and 29. Then the Jewish leaders took Jesus from Caiaphas to the palace of the Roman governor. By now it was early morning, and to avoid ceremonial uncleanness, they did not enter the palace because they wanted to be able to eat the Passover. Now, see, they believed that if they went into the Roman governor's palace, that they would become tainted. They would be unclean and therefore not able to take part of the Passover meal that evening. And so they wouldn't go in. You know what? They were more concerned of looking religious and looking righteous than being righteous. Everything they were doing was sinful and wrong. They were lying. They were deceiving. But they weren't concerned about what they were in their heart. They were more concerned with what they looked like, what everybody else could see. There's so many things wrong with this. Because, that's just like Satan himself. Satan himself, who is evil to the core, masquerades like an angel of light to deceive people. And this has even entered into the church. Listen to what the Apostle Paul wrote about how some people had even infiltrated the church who were evil to the core, but trying to appear righteous. I'm reading from Philippians chapter 3, verses 18 and 19. For I have often told you before, and now I tell you again, even with tears, many live as enemies of the cross of Christ. Now, Paul is talking about some people in the church who were living as enemies of the cross. That means that they were not willing to die to themselves. They were not willing to take up their cross and follow Jesus, only concerned with appearing to be righteous, but they weren't righteous in their heart because they had never truly taken up their cross to follow Jesus. Well, Paul continued on writing, their destiny is destruction. Their God is their stomach, and their glory is in their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things. My friends, Jesus has come to give us a brand new heart. And in doing so, we're going to be changed from inside out. But if we followed the example of the religious authorities that had Jesus crucified, they were only concerned with what they appeared to be. They weren't concerned with their hearts at all. But Jesus is concerned about our hearts, and only He can give us a new heart, a clean heart that is going to be filled with His righteousness, His holiness, His goodness. And the only way to get a new heart is to come to Jesus with repentance and humility and say, Lord, I am a sinner. Please forgive me. And He will. So don't try to fool Jesus. You can't. He knows what your heart is. And if your heart is not right with Him, then bring your heart as it is to Him and ask Him to cleanse it, to make it holy, to make it righteous, to make it pure, to make it good. That is what Jesus wants to do. He wants to give you a brand new heart. Think about that. and act upon it. And join with me again tomorrow as we study another gem in the Gospel of John. See you then.